Hello and welcome to the Franchise Hockey Manager Stream. My name is Adam. I'm the community manager of Franchise Hockey. With me, as always, is FHM producer Jeff. Say hi, Jeff.
Hey, everybody.
And we are back with California Dreamin', the 1968-69 Oakland Seals, Part 4, Team Building. Jeff, we had, I would say, arguably probably a very good season that we didn't quite expect with a very young team that we've picked up some more guys who can probably help us, I think.
Yeah, we went with unlike most of the other expansion teams, 67 expansion teams, we went with a younger team, went for prospects, and we didn't really expect to do that well the first year. And lo and behold, we won the division by a single point over Pittsburgh, although we did not do quite as well in the playoffs. The Penguins knocked us off in 5 games in the second round and then went on to get crushed by the Wings in the final,
Yeah,
which is
I,
probably
I
going to be the
should.
story for the next few years. If you're not familiar with the way the NHL did its playoffs in the first few years after the 67 expansion, they put all the expansion teams in one division and the established teams in another and separated the playoffs. So you always had an expansion team playing against one of the original 6 teams. And obviously the original 6 teams were much, much better. So it was like 3 or 4 years of nothing happening in the finals other than the expansion team getting swept.
I was just gonna add. We redrafted the Seals. We redrafted the entire expansion. I guess maybe is better.
Yep.
Uh, so our team is a little bit different, although we do have some players who did actually play for the Seals in real life.
Yeah, just showing the roster now. Vadnais, I think Charlie Burns. I don't have a whole lot actually.
No,
Mostly
you
went with
stopped
new
me from
guys.
getting more. But yeah,
And we do have Jacques Plante is coming out of retirement or semi-retirement. He's still showing up with the injury, personal reasons, so he's got 1 to 2 months of that. But he should be good to go by training camp. We're on draft day right now. We did have the interleague draft at the end of last season, which you can see how that went here. There were some pretty big names moving at the top of the draft, and the Stars got Tony Esposito, so their goaltending will be set for a few years. We were towards the end, so we took Simon Nollet. He would eventually be the captain of the Kansas City Scouts, but is still a few years away. And a question from Blues fan in the chat: any updates on the new update? Yeah, I meant to mention that we were hoping to have it out this week. That ran into some problems with the database over the weekend. We were trying a couple of new things that will eventually result in significantly reducing the amount of time I have to spend whenever we do the big roster update with the elite prospects data. But there were some teething problems with those procedures last week. So basically, I had to restart completely twice in the early going, and then the bad one was once in the very late going. After getting a few days of work in, I had to completely do it all again in the space of a couple of days. So that's cost us some time, pushed things back a bit, and I think we're going to be aiming for very early next week as the release date. And that will include the current database, so you will have the somewhat up-to-date rosters, but because of the delays getting the data together, it's going to be a little bit out of date. I think the NHL rosters will be as of, I'm trying to think, 2 days ago, Monday, I think, and the other ones will be about a week before that, but still more up to date than the opening night rosters, and then we'll keep updating those again with the next update, which will be out shortly before Christmas. So that is where that stands right now. Hang in there. It's going to be coming very shortly, and got a bunch of bug fixes in it as well. Now, draft day, Adam.
I was just gonna say before that, we talked about that. We only have a first round pick in the next 2 drafts because we made a big trade at the trade deadline
Yeah, and this
to
draft is
bring
only
in
2 rounds
Gary
long.
Donhofer, was it?
Yeah, it was Gary Dornhofer from Boston. And
Yeah.
should mention that the Bruins have gone on a bit of a draft pick trading spree. They've got 2 first rounders, but more impressively, in a 12-team league. They own, what is it, four, five, six, seven of the 12 second round picks are going to Boston.
It's a very Montreal
Yeah,
style thing
so
to
they've
do.
got. I mean, their lineup already is. They didn't have a good year last year, but they're building around Bobby Orr and Phil Esposito, and they'll be all those draft picks, even though it's a fairly weak draft, are going to help. And you can see here, this is pretty much the core of their Stanley Cup winning teams from the early '70s. So they're going to be getting very good very soon. But this draft, though, we're still in the period where the old affiliate system was in place for a lot of the junior players. So the pool of 19, 20-year-old players has been kind of picked clean to this point. There's a few of them in there, notably Glenn Resch, who's playing college hockey and will probably be the first pick. He didn't make it to the NHL for a few years, till a few years after this with the Islanders. But after that, really drops off. John Marks, sort of pretty good swingman, left-wing defenseman for the Hawks in the '70s. Lou Morrison was Bobby Clark's line mate in Flin Flon and Junior. Good penalty killer, very low scorer though. And then some assorted names familiar names from the 1970s. Kurt Bennett, who was with the Flames. Michel Plasse, who scored a goal in the AHL. I think when he was with Montreal's farm team, and was the Colorado Rockies goalie for a while. Mike Robitaille, pretty good Canucks defenseman until he got hurt. Jerry Hart from the Islanders and then the Nordiques, and a variety of other guys. So we're
Yeah.
not going to get anybody that great. We're picking, what is it, 8th overall. So unless somebody drops down to us, we're not going to get anything too amazing. So I'm just going to start this up.
Which just reminds me here, we have something we need to do too once we're done the draft.
Okay, let me know when we're done. And
Well, I'll try and remember, but you got to remind me too.
yeah,
Or Blues fan, if you're still here, type it in the chat when we're done the draft.
okay. And the Kings surprisingly first go with Tim Sheehy. He's playing college hockey. Would be, I think he played in the league briefly for the Whalers, and after the WHA merger brought them into the league. He was with them in the WHA for a few years, but didn't have a great NHL career. Surprised they didn't go for Resch. Stars going for John Marks after that, so they want the skater instead of the goalie. Somebody's got to take the goalie. Bruins taking Lou Morrison as their first pick, although they do have two good goalies in Boston, so that's not a surprise. Be nice if Resch fell to us. Nope, he's not going to. He's going to Chicago. So Chicago lost out on Tony Esposito to Minnesota, but gets Chico Resch instead. So almost as good. Kurt Bennett going to the Blues. And Pat Restrom had, I think, played most of his career for the WHA Birmingham Bulls and probably Toronto Toros before that, I think. The Bruins take him with their second pick. And Mike Robitaille, eventually a Canuck, and then eventually the plaintiff in a lawsuit against the Canucks after they allegedly didn't
Don't
treat
assume
his
the next
injury.
one.
Yeah, no, not going to do that. But he goes to the Penguins, and now we've got a few options here. Plasse, we don't really need another goalie. We've already got Wayne Stevenson and Jacques Plante going to be fighting for the backup spot this year.
Yeah.
Jerry Pinder, whose brother Herb was one of the first prominent player agents.
Yeah, I'm actually looking. Dave Dunn actually went in when I simmed it out here.
Yeah, Dunn, so Leaf and Canuck, very tough guy, pretty solid defenseman. I think he wound up in WHA with the Jets towards the end of the '70s. He kind of went downhill fairly quickly, so I'm not sure how many years we'd get out of him.
Well, I'm just. What do we really need here? I guess what's our
Everything.
yeah. My first I went to Gary Pinder. Even looking at his real stats, he produced pretty well in the NHL and WHA for his
Yeah.
career.
Well, good. Yeah, good WHA numbers with Cleveland and a couple of decent. I mean, he was just getting going when he left the Seals.
Yeah.
So was a Seal, a bit of a point in his favor. Another one possibility, Jerry Hart, who was kind of pretty good second pair defenseman for the Islanders before they finally got good and when they finally turned into a decent team, which in the late 70s he was there for the first cup. Yeah, I think he was the Islanders' first cup in 79 or 80. It was in 79, so he was on that one cup team, but then wound up going to Quebec in the expansion draft and went downhill after that. So long career, solid defensive defenseman. Another similar guy, Ed Kia, who kind of a sad story. Had a head injury that basically ended his career and then wound up drowning a few years after that.
Jeez.
Farther down the list, not seeing a few familiar names, but nobody I'd want right away. Let's see what the scouts want. Scouts say Dunn and then Plass. Safe suggestion, Jean Lapointe, who not that prominent, never made the NHL, a couple of years in the AHL. That seems like a bad idea to me. Risky suggestion is Plass. And, oh no, that's not, I was thinking that was Gary Morrison, who was a tough guy for the Flyers. This is George Morrison, OWHA guy. Had some decent years and a couple of years with the Blues.
Yeah,
I think I'm going with Dunn.
Done? Okay.
You have what? Do you think somebody else?
Well, no, I was Pinder was still was my thought, but I'm good with Dunn if you want to go Dunn.
Yeah, I understand we do want to stock up on the toughness as we're headed into the 70s. So
That's
we will
fair.
go with Dunn there. And Pinder.
You just wanted the ex-Vancouver Canuck, Jeff. It's all right.
Of course. Pinder goes to the Rangers with the very next pick, and Plass winds up where he did in real life with the Canadiens. And the Leafs take Steve King, presumably not the writer. Morrison to the Wings. And now we're getting into the long string of Bruins picks. They're getting basically a bunch. They finally take Hart. I was hoping he'd slip down to us, but bunch of career WHA.
We don't have another
basically.
pick.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So what is the point of me doing all of that? So fake until human, and there we go. So that winds it up. Not really any decent free agents coming out of that. I'll take a quick look. Oh, I did put out one contract for yet another Canuck. Dennis Kearns was a free agent, so the eventual Canuck captain. Well, I mean,
actually,
the guy is a 60-point player in the 70s, so I think worth grabbing now.
Oh yeah, okay. So Jeff, one of the things we did last year was some house cleaning to bring in better coaches, which ended up hurting our scouting. So we have some money to hire some scouts.
Okay, can even that. I mean, it's scouting really isn't a huge priority in historical, but
Well, for some people who maybe don't know players, it's still a good idea to have some scouts.
But I will get
Either way, we have over $200,000 we can spend. Our coaches look pretty good right now.
Dunn will take our offer. Now we got a couple of goalies. I think one of which Gary Simmons was a Seal, and Gary Edwards was with the Barons after they moved from Oakland. Did he? Nope, was never actually a Seal, but he was with the franchise for the last couple of years. And what is our goalie situation? We got. Yeah, we still got Lyle Carter, another year of Jack McCartan. I'm going to try to shop Plant as soon as he comes back, but I don't know for sure yet that we're going to be able to move him, so I'm not going to sign another goalie yet.
Well, Stevenson was hot,
I'm
but
sure
he still is only half-star guy. So,
but I think that's going to jump up relatively quickly when we get if we keep playing him near the start of the season. Not really seeing many. Claire Alexander, who had like half a good season for the Leafs. No, I don't think you see anybody I want to grab right away, so I think we'll leave the free agents alone for now. Okay, staff. What's the scouting look like? Canada's going to be our primary concern here. So good in Ontario, weak everywhere else. So let's find a couple of Canadian scouts to hire. Bill Torrey eventually would be with the GM of
Islanders.
the future Islanders, but is available right now and working in Quebec, so we will take him. And I
Absolutely.
believe that's Frank Boucher Jr. But we need a Western guy, I think. Hal Lako, who would, former Bruins defenseman who was a Canucks coach. So that's one more, you think?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, another Western guy, maybe.
Jerry Melnick's fairly young. And there we go. That gets our scouting into good shape. Just out of curiosity, do we have?
We
Oh
could
yeah,
probably use one or two in the States still, even.
I'm wondering maybe or put somebody in Scandinavia instead.
Well, that might not be a bad idea.
Yeah. Let's give Frederick Madsen a
Lars
look.
Eric Soderberg's being a little sad.
Yeah, well, maybe bring in another Swede for him. The U.S. Just not a lot of American players right now, so I'm going to hold off on that for a year.
All right.
So that covers our staff. And I think I've got the lineup pretty much the way I want it to start the season.
Yeah, I know you offered a contract to our rookie. Did you put any for some upcoming free agents? Because we do have a couple guys.
Yeah, I'll renew those that we're going to be losing a moderately large deal for the Leafs and Canadians. Gary Monahan and Ted Harris headed to Toronto. Monahan going to the Leafs like you would in real life, and Gary Younger, the Canadians have picked him up, so that will be a really good pickup for them. And Brian Murphy is a throw in there, but the Leafs get a little more depth for a guy that has potential. Dunn is signed. He's only half a star, so I think he's definitely starting in the minors. Our AHL team is the Cleveland Barons, ironically enough, this year, because we will eventually become the Cleveland Barons. And Jacques Plante is 2 or 3 weeks away.
Put him on the trade block right now.
I can see if we get an offer for him, but even if we do get an offer, it's going to be reduced because he's hurt at the moment. So I'll shop him as soon as he's healthy again. And like you said, upcoming free agents. Wayne Rivers, definitely want to get him re-signed. And Charlie Burns, who's older but was a good veteran presence for us last year, and he only wants a single year, so he can have that. And we're basically getting into the spare players here. I think Wayne Mackey is going to break out eventually, so I'm going to give him another 3 years. Everybody else is a little older, and I think I will wait until the start of, until we're later. I'll probably wait until the off season to renew anybody else, because at that point we'll know who's how they played this year. Oh, and want to set up the training right to begin with. So Favell doesn't really need that much help. I'm going to focus on Stevenson. See the bonus number, the number in parentheses is fairly low, under 10, and you don't really want to go too much below that. Kearns is probably going to go down, so I'm not going to put anything into training him yet. I want to keep Jacques Lemaire headed up, and I think I'll leave it like that. Kearns down to Cleveland, and that is 23 players, which I think is the roster limit.
I just went ahead and maybe giving Wayne Mackey that contract was not a good idea.
What happened?
He's dropping
I'm
stats.
surprised. I looked at his numbers in the database, cheated a little bit, and they're fine. So I'm not sure why the scouts are
He's
so
getting
down on him.
slower. Acceleration -1.
Huh. And the monthly budget, that looks okay. No tournaments for anybody to look at. And we have some new Hall of Famers. Roy Waters, who, if you watched our game last year, was our goalie for quite a few years in Montreal. Turk Broda, great Leaf goalie. Harry Lumley, mainly with Detroit. And Tom Johnson, Bruins or Canadians defenseman, and then eventually the Bruins coach. I think he's the, can't remember if he's the Bruins coach this year in the game. I think that might, no, that's probably still Harry Sinden at this point. Yeah, Milt Schmidt's the general manager and Sinden is the head coach. Schmidt eventually would go and Sinden would move up and Johnson would become the head coach. And we'll just rapidly move through the rest of the off season. Oh, okay. Well, thank you, Adam.
What do we get? Oh,
The Leafs have offered us Rene Robert for Jacques Plante.
shot fun. Oh yeah, absolutely.
1/3 of the French Connection line in Buffalo, so we are very happy to do that. He's a little young. He's only showing 2.5 star potential right now, but I'm going to take him and we'll give him a year in the minors. And now our goalies are down to Carter and McCartan on the farm.
Well, you know what? There is a Swedish goalie. Although I don't, never mind. He won't be up on the team anyway, so he won't help.
Yeah, he's not going to. Lars Holmqvist, or Leif Holmqvist. I think I will grab Gary Edwards though as our just as goaltending insurance. He'll go to Cleveland.
I like to think of it as a pre-scouting, Cleveland.
And he wants #1, but he's not going to be wearing that for us. Technically, he's a little better than Stevenson is right now, but just based on how well Stevenson played last year, we're going to stick with him for the start of the season. And running around to the preseason now.
Okay, you know what? In my game here, I didn't get Rene Robert, but I got an offer from Detroit for Jacques Plante, and they offered 20-year-old Danny Lawson.
Also not bad. Good WHA player, Calgary Cowboys. And stick with the budget. No tournaments going on for the scouts. And we should be rapidly approaching preseason. Few trade rumors, nothing too much going on. And we open the preseason against the Penguins, who beat us in the playoffs last year, and come out with a 5-3 win. And we have a scouting up, another request to hire a local scout. That seems to be coming up too long, too often. Maybe I'll check that. And that seemed to that failed to complete last time. We have to do that by the end of the year. I'm going to leave it for now, and I'm going to try hiring a little later in the year. I think we've got the bug fixed, but it's not into a build that I'm using yet. And we do have to improve that weakness at left wing, but I think we're okay there.
Well, can we move somebody over to the left wing to help that out?
Kind of cheating, but yeah, we could. Stevenson doesn't have a great first game against the Blues. Do we even have a weakness at the left wing? We should check first. We got a weakness everywhere.
We're just young everywhere.
I'll try Rivers on the left side. Bump a little bit down one line and swap Rivers and Cashman on the third line. And the Bruins just completely blow us out. You can see how good they're getting. Start bumping up the game budget a bit because we got another owner request to improve attendance. And let's spend a little more on team morale as well. Up against the Leafs next. We're going with Gary Smith in goal this year, and we beat them 5-3.
Right.
And Rivers is improving at left wing, so hopefully he'll come along pretty quickly at that. Oh, there was a trade there. What did the Wings and Flyers do? Just a minor trade. Stevenson will get the start again. No goalie is heating up yet. Tony Esposito in goal for the Stars, but we beat him 4-1. We'll probably see some weirdness in the face gen uniforms because of the way I copied the file over, the graphics file over from the previous save. Season ticket numbers are not great, but still ahead of what we need them to be.
Oh, that's not bad.
And another game against the Blues, 3-2 win this time, so we're doing okay in the preseason. Although we did just lose Ron Buchanan to something, just a minor, I think, dislocated jaw. So I'm going to put John Pronovo in to replace him for the next game. Oh, Savard's hurt too. And that did not look good. Torn ribcage muscle, 2 or 3 months.
Oof.
So Larry Hale, who's looking for a new contract, is going to get a early chance to make his case, and we're going to have to call somebody up. Probably, see, Nick Polano and Dwayne Rupp are the only one-star guys. Rupp played for us a bit last year. Not a great choice, but we'll try him. And Schuberg is day-to-day with a bruised calf, so I'll just swap him out for Rupp for this last game. And fairly banged up from injuries. And Wayne Stevenson still picks up a 4-2 win. And
he's playing well.
Season. Yeah, we got our home opener against Minnesota on the Friday. Schuberg should be ready for that, but let's just wait and see to be sure. Start of the season waivers. And there's a big one, Dave Dryden, because the Stars picked up Tony Esposito, has been sent down. And another one, Roy Edwards from Chicago. So Dryden would certainly be an upgrade over Stevenson for us.
Stevenson played so well last year. I mean, Stevenson's numbers last year were... I gotta look here for a second.
178 goals against average, 934 save percentage, and 4 shutouts in only 22 games. So,
yeah. Do we really want to send him down?
Let me try something first. Does anybody want to give us in something interesting for him? And apparently not. Best offer we get is Ron Harris, basically a third pair defenseman for the Blues. So Stevenson's too undervalued at this point. Oh, he is up to 1 star though. He was half a star before.
Good.
But no, I'm not going to take those guys on waivers. We will. Oh, we lost somebody on waivers because it was started the season. So the waiver exempt guys were exposed, and we lost Simon Nollet, who we picked up in the interleague draft, so he will never actually play for us.
Darn.
Wound up with the Blues. Anything? No more waivers. So we will be playing.
Shouldn't there be a waiver draft in the fall too, or no?
Not yet. That doesn't happen for a few more years.
Okay.
And let's see. The Kings also took Earl High School off from us. So we lost 2 guys there. Frank San Marseille lines up in LA from St. Louis. And it looks like Dryden might have cleared. And Schubert is healthy, so Rupp can come out. And here goes with the home opener. There we go. 5-1 win over the Stars. Tony Esposito has a rough first game as a North Star. And Jean Pronovost improving at center, although Buchanan will be back before too long. Blues
I missed this.
Go ahead.
No, Observer on our chat in Steam, so my apologies, Observer. Says, hey there, is this still the 67 challenge? How are you playing as St. Louis? You're doing the Seals. Yeah, we're just playing a regular Seals game. It's not a challenge.
Not a challenge game, just the standard 1967 start with the redraft. And the Blues got crushed in their opener against the Hawks. You can see the total competitive imbalance between the old and the new teams there. And let's see if we can go 2-0 against the Kings. Yes, we can. 4-2 win. Jean Pronovost seems to like playing at center. Here's the first star. And Schubert got himself hurt again. This time sore knee for 1 to 2 weeks, so gonna have to put Dwayne Rupp in. Any free agent defensemen out there? We're looking a little thin. Nobody that's going to be good right away, unfortunately.
Not have a Seals challenge?
Can't remember offhand.
I'm looking. I don't see one. Huh. Oh, yeah, there it is. California Golden Seals. Get the team into the playoffs.
That's hard.
The challenge.
No real free agent options at the moment. Okay, Wayne Cashman's gone over to the other wing now, so hopefully Rivers follows suit quickly.
Lifelong Blues fan. Oh. Let me ask you this, Observer. How you feeling about Drew Bannister? You think he's going to survive? Or do you think the axe has fallen? I saw there's rumors already that Montgomery might be headed there.
Okay, Buchanan healthy. I missed the training camp development update. I think we've had quite a few guys move. Actually kind of torn as to who to take out of the lineup here. Don't really want to do it to Pronovost because he started so well. I think it's going to have to be Wayne Cashman that goes out for Buchanan, who comes back in, and Pronovost goes to the right wing on that line. But this is going to be ugly regardless. Probably should have put Stevenson in for that. Wow, we beat the Bruins. Charlie Burns
Oh,
with a hat trick.
all right, nice.
The Warren Esposito-led Bruins surprisingly dropping one to us. And we will give Stevenson a shot here against the Blues. And keeps the win streak going. 4-0 to start the year. And Charlie Burns with another big game. Burns is red hot.
Ripping it up.
And we lose another defenseman. It's the replacement, Dwayne Rupp, this time. Out for 2 or 3 weeks. Schuber's day to day, so I'm just going to put him back in for now.
That's
Going to injury list Rupp and bring somebody up. Polano, I guess. Eventual Sabres and Wings coach. But scoring in the first 4 games, Charlie Burns 8 points. Not what I expected, but yeah, we'll take it. And Larry Hale, 5 assists in his first 4 games, so he apparently does want a new contract.
Lars Eric Soderberg's not sad about being or not feeling isolated. I was looking, there's actually a Swedish guy has made his way into the AHL who's signable.
Yeah, I saw that. I took a look at him. Finally lose, though. Favell drops 1 to the Hawks. So 3-2 against an original 16. Not that bad, though. But I think Schuberg, actually, let me check his bio screen. Fluent in English, so he's not going to be too homesick.
I was just looking to see if there's any defensemen we should be signing to, as we continue seem to be injuring defensemen.
What I could do is, have we had anybody that's decent trade bait? Not really. I was going to say if we had somebody. Oh, Wayne Mackey is climbed up. Oh, he's up to see. Mackey's up to 2 stars, and you didn't want to keep him.
I didn't say that. I said he dropped. It was dropped 1. I'm just like, oh, I'm not sure.
We want to bring him up. I wonder if we can get a defenseman for Willie O'Ree. Try shopping, but
Terry O'Malley is available. Never played.
consider defenseman. Consider active needs to defenseman and see if we get any offers back for O'Ree, and nothing. I think we've got 3 games in a row here, so I'm going to give Stevenson the first of those against Minnesota.
That's an interesting guy. Arn Carlson, 6'3".
Swedish?
Who is, yes, 25-year-old left defenseman, right defenseman. His local popularity is superstar, and international popularity is extremely popular.
And we win against Minnesota, but we lost another defenseman. It's Bill Plager this time. He's gone 2 to 3 weeks with concussion-like symptoms. So Polano goes into the lineup.
Yeah, Observer, they were talking about it on The Athletic. I mean, I don't know if I don't see them firing Barrister right now, but
Bannister?
something to Bannister, sorry. I said Barrister, yeah.
Unless they're going to fire their lawyer too.
Well, maybe they will. I don't know. Who knows? But they're in a division that everyone's wanting to get destroyed.
And we lose to the Rangers 3-2. So struggling against the established teams, not that surprising. Schuberg is healthy again. Looks like Rupp is almost ready to come back, so we'll bring him off the injured list. I'll be stuck on the injured list for a while yet. And another game against Montreal this time. 5-5 tie. A little too wide open, but it's a point against a good team. So, and Andy Bathgate, who went to the Stars in the expansion draft, plays his 1,000th game against his former team, the Rangers. And is off to a decent start to the year. We are actually in first place in the league, although it's only because the Leafs haven't played as many games as us. They're 5-0 to start the year. Bill Goldsworthy's leading the league in points.
Nice.
Did not expect this, but good enough. And we just managed to get by the Flyers. Les Binkley, who's actually out with food poisoning at the moment, is on waivers from the Penguins, but he's good, but he's 34. Doesn't really fit what we want. Really need some of the injured guys to start coming back soon, though. And Charlie Burns is the offensive player of the month.
As he should be.
Yep. Amazingly enough, but I'm not going to complain. You're going to throw Stevenson in against the Hawks because that is going to be a tough one. Wow. Apparently not such a tough one. 9-0 blowout win for us against Chicago.
Interesting.
They only outshot them 33-29. Who's in goal for them? Dennis DeJordy played in for all 9 goals. So just about everybody on the team gets a point except Schuberg, who still had pretty impressive game ratings. Carol Vadnais with a 93 overall. But just really spread out scoring. Everybody's got 1, 2, 3 points. Team effort, and very happy with that. Rivers continuing to prove at left wing, so that will help us in that with that owner goal. And we'll go with the same. We had Stevenson in goal, but otherwise the same lineup against Pittsburgh, and only get a 3-3 tie there. Leon Rochefort is waived by the Canadiens. 2.5 stars. Would be an upgrade for us, but we've got so many good young guys improving rapidly. I don't think we got a spot for him.
That's the tough thing with our young team. Like we need time to get better, but we're not. We're not so bad. We need to grab everybody under the sun.
Yeah, and Dwayne Rupp should be just about back. Flyers taking Rochefort, so we couldn't have got him regardless. So they've got a higher priority than we do. Polano's going to have to play a little bit hurt against the Rangers. And we dropped that 3-1. Boom Boom Jeffrey on. Still going strong with the Rangers. Is the first star. A couple of people on waivers, but not sure there's anybody we really want. Val Fontaine, who's winding down his career. Wound up on the Canadiens this year, but has only played a couple of games. Various other guys, Jim Johnson, the best of them, but he's no better than Buchanan, our third line center. Are we healthier now? Rupp's still hurt. And Savard still 1 or 2 months ago. Kim is chilling asking, was that Geoffrion the grandfather of Blake? Yep, father of Danny Geoffrion, who was a Jet for 1 good year in, I think it was 80-81. And then kind of disappeared after that. And then Danny's son Blake. And now we beat the Leafs 3-1. So we are well ahead of schedule, but fortunately not Charlie Burns, but only a mild calf strain, so not a big loss. Going to lose Danny Grant for a couple of games, though.
Oh, sorry. Beetle says, "Are you going to go past the Seals' expiration date of 76?"
We'll do that. We'll stay with them when they move to Cleveland, and then
Cleveland.
we'll play the. I think we're going to play this one all the way out. So basically, the whole run of the franchise.
That's our hope, anyways. Yes.
Grant
And then I have an
goes.
idea what'll happen next.
Plano can go out for Rupp, and Cashman gets into the lineup as Danny Grant is a little bit hurt. And we just keep winning. 4-1 win this time. It's Ron Buchanan who's the first star.
Nothing wrong with that.
Bill Barkley Plager now with an injury, so Polano gets a game. Really need some more defensive depth. It's becoming obvious here. Burns will sit this one while O'Ree gets a game. And throw the backup in against the defending Cup champions, who we also beat. We are unstoppable. Not sure why,
Apparently.
but we were actually down 4-1 at the start of after the first period, and then put in 5-1 early in the second and scored 6 unanswered goals. So collapsed by the Wings, and we take advantage.
Take whatever we can get.
Okay, Plager's still injured. Is his brother ready to come back? His brother is healthy. So Bill Plager should be in Polano's spot. Cashman goes back out for Grant. Give one more game in with O'Ree for Burns. And finally drop one to the Canadians, 4-2. So we're not totally unbeatable, just close to it. Burns is almost back, but not quite. And Stevenson can take the game against the Bruins. Wow, wild game, 9-7 win for us.
Nice.
3 field goals against a touchdown. And Carol Vadnais, 4-point night. Same for Dornhofer. Both, no, I don't think it was Vadnais. No, I think Vadnais came out of the Montreal system. Would eventually be a Bruin, but not in this game. And Charlie Burns healthy, yes he is. And Barkley Plager, I think he is coming out for Rupp. Wait, no, I'm going to have to redo the defense anyhow. Lano goes back down, and then what I want here are the Plagers playing together in the middle pair. And Hale and Schubert on the bottom pair, and Picard and Vatnay is the top. And leaving the lines relatively intact to see if try and get some chemistry built up. 3-1 win against the Blues, and Charlie Burns didn't lose anything from being injured, is the first star. Rivers continuing to improve at left wing, that's good news. And what's the injury situation? Savard is still 1 to 2 months away. That'll help when we get him back. at the stats, Bill Goldsworthy, very good numbers. Burns still has his. And Jean Pronovo having not quite a breakout year, but still pretty good. Noel Picard putting up a surprising number of points. And the goalie stats. Favel having a good year, but Stevenson has dropped off quite a bit from what he did last year. I'm almost wondering, Gary Edwards is now up to 1.5 stars in the AHL. So if Stevenson continues to struggle, maybe he goes down. And then we start to regret not picking up one of those goalies that were on waivers.
I regret nothing.
5-2 loss to the Pens there, so do seem to struggle against them for some reason. Try Stevenson against the Flyers here. And nope, we dropped back-to-back games. So Flyers, when did they pick up Ken Hodge? Hodge would have been at with the Bruins at the start of this. What happened there? Oh, that's where they got the first rounder from in the last draft. Swapped the first round pick for Hodge from the Flyers. And it seems to be working out okay for the Flyers. And first in the division, 2 points back for the league lead. Although we do have the advantage of playing an unbalanced schedule against much weaker teams.
Keep saying that, but we're playing the teams that are in front of us.
And we just lost 3 in a row now, so might be time to start getting a little concerned. But we're back to the expansion teams. Whoa, Burns is really tired. He needs to sit. It's down to 63%.
Yeah. Well, it's not really tired.
That's enough to be trouble.
Well, I'm not saying it's not. Yeah, not saying he shouldn't be sitting.
And we still win 5-2 with him out of the lineup. And Britt Selby, who was traded to the Hawks, had been the Rookie of the Year with the Leafs in the early 60s and then kind of faded out quickly, but having a little bit of a comeback in this game. Looks like he's playing with Pitt Martin and Chico Mackey, Wayne's brother. Speaking of Mackey, we should see what he's doing in the NHL. Another big win for us, this time against the Canadiens. As we continue to surprise. As long as we don't put up numbers great in the year and then fade out in mid-year.
Who, us? Never.
Would never happen. Burns can go back in. He's at 100%, but now Ron Buchanan's down to 59. And the traded Ken Hodge. Oh, no, that's not Ken Hodge. That's Charlie Hodge of Montreal. Is goalie of the year, goalie of the month. And Buchanan against 74 against Pittsburgh. We'll leave him in, but keep an eye on that. Gary Dornhofer seems to be having a big year. He picked him up late last season. Yeah, he's actually our number 2 scorer, 27 points in 24 games after only having 1 point in each of the last limited duty with one of the Bruins in each of the last 2 seasons. Or no, that first one is 3 years back. So he clearly just needed some playing time. And Larry Hale's doing well enough. I'm going to offer him an extension. Yes, he might potentially get more expensive if I let that wait any longer. And yet another defenseman injury. Barclay Plager had an allergic reaction to something. He's gone for a couple of weeks, so Rupp goes in for him.
Oh boy.
Hale signs his new contract, so he should be happy. Bobby Orr with a 4-assist night against the Canadiens. And we dropped 1-0 game to Bernie Parent and the Flyers. I think that was mostly Parent's doing because we were even on shots, 31 each. But they had the hot goalie. Wayne Rivers must be getting close to being a full-blown left wing. Oh, he's at 18. Needs a couple more points. Give Stevenson a shot against the Stars. And a big 8-2 win. And Dornhofer gets 4 more points. And Fontaine back on waivers. But again, going to pass on him. Dennis Hextall's there. We've got his brother Brian, but he's not really good enough to play for us right now. And we're headed into a 2-game series against the defending champion Wings. It's really looking good. We had a lot of 1-star guys, 1.5-star guys to start the season, start the preseason and forward, and now pretty much everybody except Swarbrick, the reserve guy, is up to 2 stars at least. And we beat Detroit 4-1. Can anyone stop us? And even better news, Serge Savard is back skating and is only a couple of weeks away.
Oh, question again from the Observer says, was Dennis Hextall related to Ron?
Yeah, he's his uncle.
Yeah.
Brian's Ron's father, right? And Brian, the son, and Brian and Dennis, both the son of Brian Hextall Sr., played for the Rangers in the 40s. And we sweep the defending Cup champions. 2-game series. Plager's ready to come back, and we are just flying here. Getting a little past the hour, so we'll play a few more games before we call it a night. The Hawks finally managed to stop us. 6-4 loss there. Naturally, another defenseman injury. Barclay Plager yet again. Oh, and he's gone for 1 or 2 months this time. That's a little bigger. So Rupp goes in for him. He goes on the injured list, but I'm actually going to activate Serge Savard. He's not ready to play quite yet, but within 1 to 2 weeks he should be ready to go in. And no delaying treatment on that. Kevin Smith, probably not the movie director, is improved at right defense. And 4-2 win against the Stars. Stars starting Cesar Maniago against us instead of Esposito for that one. And oh, I never want to see that. Red cross beside the name of our captain and best player, Bill Goldsworthy. What is it? Strained oblique, 2 to 3 weeks. Could have been worse. leave him on the active roster. Well, no, I might as well put him on the injured list, and Wayne Cashman can get a few games in. Definitely not delaying this early in the season. Stevenson playing against the Leafs, who are using that weirdly shaped maple leaf this year. Wasn't around not that long. But you can see it's that sort of, I can't really tell against the background, but that non-standard shape that's sort of a compromise
Leaf,
between what it was in the
not a
70s
leaf.
and what they would and the traditional one they eventually went back to. What were you going to say?
I said a mixture of a leaf and not a leaf. Yeah, it's a weird shape.
Okay, so far it has to be very, very close. I'll just play these last couple of games against St. Louis and Philadelphia. And another big win for us against the Blues. Wayne Rivers almost there, almost a full-fledged left wing. There we go. Goldsworthy skating already, so that's not a serious injury for him. And Stevenson playing against the Flyers, who we would eventually play for in real life. And comes up with a big 7-3 win. So that is, I think, a pretty good note to wind up on. Let's just take a look at the way the player stats are looking. 33 games into the season, yeah. And Dornhofer with Goldsworthy missing a few games took over and is our top scorer now. So breakout year. I don't think he is. No, not technically a rookie. We had a ton of rookies last year and barely any this year. Oh, apparently Stevenson is still considered a rookie. He's got that asterisk you can see beside his name. So, no, from a bunch of from like 9 or 10 rookies in the lineup last year to none at all this year. But regardless, Dornhofer off to a great start. Vadnais having a very good season, over a point a game. Charlie Burns still producing solidly. Jacques Lemaire coming along nicely. Danny Grant, good season for him too. And the other, Pronovo got into the lineup at the start of the year because of an injury and just haven't been able to take him out. Played very well.
That's okay. Yeah. That's what we want.
And just yet, a lot of, whoa, look at Wayne Cashman. Didn't notice that. 15 points in 9 games. So, yeah, I think he's staying in the lineup even when we get Goldsworthy back. And the only real weak point is even the spare defensemen are putting up numbers. And goaltending. Yeah, Stevenson's numbers are improving now, and Favel's are good to begin with. So that leaves us 46 wins. We're actually in first in the league, although Chicago's got a couple of games in hand over us. Canadians really struggling as they did around this time, I think. They didn't have a great year. Can't remember if it was this specific year, but they had a couple of bad seasons. I'm just going to take a quick look at some of the reports. Prospects are halfway up the board, not bad. Second best among the expansion teams. Power rankings say we're number 1 overall.
Oh, that's good.
And the positional rankings say we're the worst team in the league. Although we have improved. It used to be right across the board. I think we started out with 12s in every category. And now we're up to 9th best group of forwards and 8th best group of defensemen, despite all their defenseman injuries.
Hey, they can give us a hard time. Doesn't mean that they're right with their stats.
And a whole bunch of 100 game performances this year. Worst game by a skater this season, Dunk McCallum of the Kings, -5, no points against the Rangers. Although just to get a better score, but Moose Vasco of the Hawks was -6 against us one night. And we got no real problems. Most of the league is actually doing okay, except for the Blues, who are a bunch of infighting. Draft surprises won't really tell us much this early into the game. And demographics report. Take one last look here. As you can see, like in this area, it's still totally dominated by Canada. 263 NHL players and 4 Americans. So that is why we don't spend a lot of effort scouting the U.S. 2 Swedes, one of which is ours, and then various other guys. I think that's probably Stan Mikita getting counted as Slovakia, even though he's got Canadian as his first nationality. And finally, the size rankings right in the middle of the pack for heaviest and tallest. The Leafs are the biggest team in the league, although it's a goalie that's their biggest player. Also the oldest team in the league, which tracks with what they were doing in real life. They were well known as they won that last Stanley Cup with a very old team. And Johnny Brouwer is still performing pretty well. Wow, he's having a great year at 44. 1.85 goals against average. And as we said, we drafted young, so we are the youngest team in the league. Although, surprisingly, the Bruins, with all those draft picks and with their fairly young group centered around Bobby Orr, are the second youngest team in the league. Behind all the expansion teams, or ahead of all the expansion teams except us. Okay, do you want to wind up there, Adam?
Sure. With that, then, thank you very much for tuning in to another Franchise Hockey Manager stream. We typically stream every Wednesday night at 11 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/Franchise Hockey Manager, as well as twitch.tv/OOTV Developments, with our streams also being on Steam every other week. You can find our streams archived on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/OOTP Developments. And also, with them going live, well, the past couple times it went live at about 1 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturdays. You can also reach out to us on our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Franchise Hockey Manager. On Twitter, we're at Franchise Hockey. We have Bluesky, which you can find us at Franchise Hockey. We're on Threads as Franchise Hockey Manager, Instagram, Franchise Hockey Manager. And of course, come on down to our official website, which is ootpdevelopments.com. Click on the community button in the top right-hand corner, which will bring you to the official forums where you come talk about Franchise Hockey Manager, Out of the Park Baseball, Perfect Team, Go, or anything else you wish to discuss. Jeff, we'll be back again next week as we continue this game.
Yep, I think we're going to probably do this for a little while yet. I'm kind of liking this way we're going with just one game at a time, a little more coherent, but we will eventually start up a modern game. Thinking is probably Chicago, but we'll see. But we'll do that once we've got the new current database out. So whether that's shortly after the update or a little further in the future, we will wait and see. But doing pretty good with this game so far. And if you missed it, I mentioned earlier in the chat that we are looking at probably early next week for the next update. Now we were hoping to have had it out this week, but had some problems with the database over the weekend, and I had to go back and redo a bunch of work. But should all be fixed now, and you should have that with the current rosters in the game very shortly. I think we can wind up there, and we'll be back next week with Adam taking his turn with this game. So I've clearly done great, so try not to screw it up, eh?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
If something goes wrong at this point, it's obviously you and not me. So, okay, thanks everybody, and we will see you a week from now.